So this is Baruch Fleischman here. I'm at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and it is my pleasure to bring on at this time onto our stage here, so to speak, the Likutei Maharan. Here it is written down below in English. This is an English translation. It's really a good translation. I'm going to work on it and try to understand the different things that there are to say. Now, as the book begins, and let me just open it up here, this is the major work of Breslev. And this is the work of Rabbi Nachman the Breslev. And as it dictated to his Talmud Muvhak, Rabbi Nassim. So this is Likutei Maharan. And I'm going to get to the opening pages. This is what the original edition of Likutei Maharan looked like. And I have something that looks like this. So this was the beginning of it, and now he's going to bring us to a translation of the opening page. Now he says, look, Likutei Maharan, from the pure discourses of the prominent sage and man of piety, the holy lamp and clear light, our master Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Nachman was a great-grandson of the holy sage, the Baal Shem Tov of blessed memory. Now remember that this is a translation of the front page, so to speak. Teaching upon teaching we have recorded. They are the pure words of God, revealing secrets, uncovering mysteries, to awaken the sleeping and free those bound in fetters, with open rebuke and hidden love. To clear the way and open the eyes of the blind, hewn from a quarry of precious gems, for anyone who wishes to support himself upon them, these words. They are great edifices built upon the firm foundations, the immutable words of the sages. In them he will find tranquility for his soul and sound advice. May we merit to see the coming of the advisor of righteousness, to gather in the exiles. Then the Holy of Holies, the chamber, the meeting hall, and the courtyards will all be established upon their rightful places. If we go on like this, he says, the wise will understand on their own that the Gentiles in whose land we currently reside are not like those who were in the time of the sages of the Talmud. The latter were idolaters who worshipped the stars and the constellations, and were attached to all forms of abomination. They knew not God, nor recognized his holy words, but the nations of our day fear God and honor his Torah, doing kindness and justice in their lands, and charity with the Jews who took refuge under their wings. Heaven forbid that we should either say or write anything disrespectful about them. Thus, any reference to nations, Gentiles, and peoples of the world and the like refer only to those idolaters that lived in the time of the Mishnah. So before I say just an introduction to what is about to be written, it's just this was written in Tsarist Russia at a time, actually it was the time of Napoleon, the time of the breakthrough of Western ideas into the Jewish enclave in Eastern Europe, which was one time, very recently, the time of Rabbi Nachman actually. Poland ceased to exist, and all of the area in which the Jews lived were taken over by the Russians. So it says it's printed in Ostrog, the province of Volyn. I'm familiar with Volyn, for my grandfather, my mother's side, came from Volhynia Gubernia, Lutsk. They pronounce it Loitsk. Printed in Ostrog, the province of Volyn, with the approval of the government censor in Vilna. So everything that we just heard was passed through that censor. In the printing house of Reb Shmuel, son of Yisachar Bar Siegel, which is my wife's family name, in Ostrog. So he says, under the rule of our master, the exalted and pious Tsar Alexander Pavlovich, in the year behold, I give him my covenant of peace, 5568, 1808, and this is what had to be written, apparently, at that time. So there are instructions and guidelines and different things we're going to go through, but here we're going to come, God willing, it's coming up here, to the preface to Likutei Maharan, and this is really its beginning. And let's turn the page and see what I got. So Rabbi Nachman wrote this prologue, and we'll watch the time so we can get how much we can say of it. Come and see the works of God, an amazing revelation concerning the mystery of the greatness of the godly sage Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. So let's talk about Rabbi Shimon, our Rabbi Shimon. He says, he says, let me see, where are we? He said, Bar Yochai? Oh, here we are. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai gave assurances that through him the Torah would not be forgotten from the Jewish people. As our sages teach, when our rabbis entered the yeshiva in Yavna, they said, the Torah will one day be forgotten by the Jews, but Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said it would not be forgotten. As is written, it will not be forgotten from the mouth of the offspring, as explained in the Zohar. Because of this work, the book of the Zohar let me read it again. And as is explained in the Zohar, because of this work, the book of the Zohar, the Jews will be redeemed from exile. And that's the reason why we have this motto here, Tikkun Elevator, Kolel, learn Zohar every day. Every day. It brings the redemption. So now see and understand the hidden wonders of our holy Torah. This is why Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai based himself on this verse. It will not be forgotten from the mouth of his offspring. So what does this mean? For in truth the mystery is hinted at and concealed in this very verse. Now just for a second, let's just take the concept of, for my own edification, the word hint. Hint in Hebrew is called a remez. So those who are familiar with the 4 different levels of learning of Torah, which is pshat, remez, drush, and sod, Rabbi Nachman deals with all 4 and brings us a tremendous sodos. Here is a remez based on sod that we can understand. It says, through the offspring of Yochai, which is Rashbi, the Torah will not be forgotten by the Jews. Now this is because the final letters of the words in this verse, let me read it in Hebrew because I can't really do the transliteration so well. Okay, lo tzishachah bepi zaro, that it will not be forgotten from the mouth of his seed. That's what it says. He says that the end letters, of this phrase, so it would be Yud, Aleph, Ches, and Vav, Heim Osios Yochai. That is a remez. Hidden in the words of the pasuk is the name Yochai. That will not be forgotten means Yochai. Yochai's son. These are the same letters as Yochai. This is what these hints, this is what the verse hints to and reveals. It will not be forgotten from the mouth of his offspring, specifically from the mouth of his offspring, that is, from the mouth of the offspring of the one who is himself alluded to and hidden in the verse, this being the sage Yochai. So hidden in the verse is the name Yochai. So it's the son of Yochai because of the offspring of Yochai, who is hinted at in the final letters of the verse, of the words in this verse, this being Rashbi, that is Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. The Torah will not be forgotten, for with this Zohar they were redeemed from exile as above. So let me see. One more. And know the mystery of Rabbi Shimon himself is alluded to in another verse. Know that the holy sage Rabbi Shimon corresponds this verse in Daniel. Now this verse is written like this in Hebrew. Ir v'kadesh min Shemai Anochis. So ear. Now they're going to translate it here as an angel, and ear actually means arousal. There is an arousal, an alertness that comes out, and it's holy, and it comes from heaven downwards. He translates it, a holy one descended from heaven, the first letters of which are Shimon. Say the Shimon. So now you have 2 pesukim with this is the concept of a remez, where hidden within the pesukim is something that we want to learn. That's going to be it for today. Then we're going to go on to a new section over here. This is Baruch Fleischman of the Tikkun Elevator Call Out.